You've seen it before. The slow decay of potential. The man who talks about what he'll do, but never does. The one who blames circumstance, the economy, his past, the system, anything but himself. He lives in motion, yet goes nowhere. He mistakes noise for meaning, speed for direction, comfort for peace. He's not evil, just asleep. And the tragedy is that sleep feels safe. Every generation is filled with men like this, half awake, half alive, feeding on distraction and calling it ambition. They scroll, they complain, they talk of dreams that never survive the morning. And every year, they bury another piece of their potential under excuses, validation, and fear. What they never realize is this: foolishness isn't always loud. Sometimes it wears the mask of normalcy, polite, harmless, socially accepted. But beneath that mask lies rot, a quiet surrender of power, discipline, and truth. This is why life punishes the fool, not because fate is cruel, but because reality respects clarity. The Stoics said, "If you wish to improve, be content to be thought foolish." Because to outgrow foolishness, you must first see it in yourself, brutally, honestly, without flinching. In this video, we'll dissect the 5 things foolish people continually do, the silent habits that keep them weak, distracted, and powerless, and how to correct each with ruthless precision. This isn't about judging others. It's about looking in the mirror and asking, where am I still asleep? Stay till the end, because number 5 reveals the one habit that quietly kills every dreamer before they even begin. 1. They confuse motion with progress. You mistake activity for achievement. You confuse exhaustion with effort. You've been moving so long that you've forgotten what direction even means. You tell yourself you're grinding. You wake up early, stay up late, fill every moment with movement, meetings, messages, endless noise. But deep down you know, you're not building, you're circling. Your days blur into one long sprint that leads nowhere. You open your phone to check something quickly. 40 minutes vanish. You scroll through productivity hacks, motivational reels, digital mentors shouting about discipline, all while your own plans rot in your notes app. You chase the high of being busy, because busyness feels like control, but it's an illusion, a treadmill disguised as triumph. The Stoics warned of this centuries ago. Seneca said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. Every task you accept without purpose, every impulse you obey without thought, bleeds you of life." You think movement protects you from failure, but it only hides your fear of standing still long enough to see the truth. You don't have a plan. You have motion without meaning. True progress is silent. It's the man who works in the dark, refining one craft, one thought, one decision at a time. It's the discipline to say no to distraction, to endure boredom, to master repetition, to build something unseen until it's undeniable. Stop chasing motion. Build momentum. Because one focused step beats 1,000 frantic ones. 2. They seek validation instead of truth. You don't want to be right. You want to be liked. That's the sickness of this age. Men who fear disapproval more than ignorance. You post your opinions and wait for hearts, not honesty. You hide your real thoughts behind polite silence because you crave harmony over truth. And every time you betray what you believe, a piece of your spine dissolves. You scroll through the world's applause, chasing dopamine like it's destiny. You tell yourself you're staying humble, but really, you're staying invisible. You filter your words until they lose their weight, your values until they lose their edge. You've become agreeable, and therefore forgettable. Validation is the modern drug. It numbs the pain of insecurity while deepening the wound. You think you're connecting, but you're performing. And the performance never ends, because the crowd's approval must be constantly fed. That's why you're tired. Not from effort, but from pretending. The Stoics saw this trap long before the screen existed. Epictetus said, "If you wish to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." Truth demands isolation. It demands that you stand against comfort, popularity, and the shallow applause of the crowd. Because truth doesn't stroke your ego, it breaks it. It doesn't make you liked. It makes you free. Stop seeking to be understood. Seek to understand. Stop chasing praise. Chase accuracy, because the world doesn't reward truth-tellers immediately, but it bows to them eventually. 3. They react instead of strategize. You hand your power to every impulse that angers you. Someone insults you, you erupt. Someone doubts you, you prove yourself. Someone disagrees, you spiral into defense. You've become a puppet of emotion. Every reaction is a string, and the world knows exactly how to pull it. You call it being real, but it's just being predictable. Your enemies don't need to defeat you. They just need to provoke you. And the man who can be provoked on command is already owned. You live in a state of constant response, to news, to gossip, to moods. You can't build anything when you're always putting out fires. You can't lead when you're always reacting to chaos. Reaction is slavery. Strategy is freedom. Picture this. You're in an argument, and someone strikes below the belt. You feel the heat rise, the urge to fight back instantly. That's the test, the thin moment between impulse and power. The weak man explodes. The strong man calculates. He delays, observes, plans, because control is the highest form of dominance. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." The moment you can choose your response instead of obeying emotion, you stop being a slave and start being a strategist. Every reaction wastes energy. Every pause builds power. So train yourself to be still when the world expects fury, to stay calm when others demand chaos. Because the calm man doesn't lose control, he sets the trap. Number 4, they speak more than they think. The fool's mouth moves faster than his mind. He confuses volume for intelligence, opinion for truth, and noise for power. He must always be heard, because silence terrifies him. Silence reveals how little he actually knows. You've seen this man. Maybe you've been him. Maybe you rush to speak in meetings, on social media, in arguments, desperate to prove you're not irrelevant. You talk to fill the void, not to add value. And every unnecessary word exposes how undisciplined your mind really is. You think talking gives you control. It doesn't. It leaks it. The man who reveals everything he thinks, feels, or plans becomes predictable, and therefore weak. Every word is data to someone else's advantage. So you keep speaking, louder, faster, emptier, until people stop listening. Because true authority doesn't shout, it whispers, and the world leans in. The Stoics mastered this art. Zeno said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we can listen twice as much as we speak." The wise man speaks not to impress, but to clarify. He pauses before every statement, because he understands words are weapons. Once released, they can't be recalled. Speech without restraint is self-sabotage. Speech with precision is power. So learn to hold your tongue. Let silence make people uneasy. Let your restraint speak louder than their noise. Because in a world that constantly screams, the quiet man commands attention, not by force, but by presence. 5. They ignore the mirror. The greatest fool is the one who never questions himself. He builds his identity on illusion and defends it like a fortress built of glass. He repeats the same patterns, makes the same mistakes, attracts the same pain, and still wonders why nothing changes. He blames others, the job, the world, the betrayal, the timing, never himself. You've done it too. You've convinced yourself you were the victim, not the architect. You told yourself life's unfair, instead of asking, what part of this did I allow? That's how self-deception begins, not in lies told by others, but in lies told to yourself, repeated until they feel true. Most people don't fear failure. They fear accountability, because the mirror doesn't flatter. It exposes. It shows the truth stripped of comfort, the weaknesses you hide, the excuses you dress up as logic, the effort you pretend is enough. But here is the paradox. The mirror that humiliates you is also the one that frees you. The moment you stop running from it, you reclaim power, because once you see yourself clearly, no one can manipulate you again. Marcus Aurelius wrote his meditations not to impress, but to confront. Every line was a mirror, brutal, personal, uncompromising. He didn't seek praise, he sought clarity. And that is what separates the wise from the foolish. The wise man studies his reflection until his flaws become his teachers. The fool looks away and stays blind. So face the mirror, not to admire, but to awaken. Because until you confront your own reflection, every victory you chase will still feel hollow. Conclusion. The turning point. The difference between the fool and the wise man isn't intelligence, it's awareness. The fool drifts, the wise observes. The fool reacts, the wise reflects. The fool blames, the wise takes responsibility. Every man is born foolish. That's not shame, that's nature. But staying that way? That's a choice to keep sleeping through your own potential because waking up is painful. The truth is, wisdom isn't found in comfort. It's forged in confrontation with yourself. Every day you're offered the same decision: remain the fool who blames the world, or become the man who masters himself. And mastery begins the moment you stop lying to others, to fate, to yourself. The world doesn't need more clever men. It needs grounded ones. Men who can endure boredom without distraction. Men who can speak truth without seeking applause. Men who think before they act, who strategize before they strike, who confront before they collapse. That's how you build the inner citadel, the fortress within. Brick by brick, self-discipline, clarity, restraint, truth. Until no insult can shake you, no setback can define you, no emotion can command you. You're not meant to be perfect. You're meant to be awake. So look at the 5 habits. See which one still chains you. And break it. Not tomorrow, not someday, but now. Because life doesn't wait for the wise to catch up. It rewards the ones who confront their foolishness first. If this spoke to you, share it. Subscribe to Timeless Stoic Mind, where strong minds sharpen and the weak are remade or left behind.